So me and my friend was having this conversation. I want to hear your opinion. You know how older black people think everything is too grown? Even things are clearly for children. Perfect example is like colorful hair, right? Then there's a black 16-year-old little girl right now who wants to dye her hair pink. There are going to be so many people in her family talking about she can't do that because that's too grown, when in reality, nothing is adult about having pink hair. That's quite literally for children. And older black people do this with clothes, hairstyles, makeup trends, a lot of different things, right? Me and my friend was talking about this, and I said, this is the reason why you see so many black women in their 20s be so fucking childish, because they never got to do all the things that you should have did as a fucking kid. And what I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, what I feel like is when these black women get out on their own in their 20s, instead of embracing adulthood, a lot of black women revert back to teenage, because now they're able to do all the things that they should have did in their teenage years, but they couldn't, because every single time they tried to do something that is inherently childish, their families was trying to convince them that that was for grown people. I don't like to compare other races, but if we were to compare other races, but in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, that's why I want y'all to add in. Y'all can disagree with me. But when you compare it, a 16-year-old white girl acts just like a 24-year-old black girl. Because this is normally the first time that this 24-year-old black girl has been able to act like a 16-year-old. Again, that's just my opinion. And I want to know, do y'all agree with me? Again, y'all don't have to agree with me. But I think that whole, oh, that's too grown for you really stunts black women's growth at the end. Let me know what y'all think.
So Pop the Balloon or Find Love is a black show. The host is black, the creators are black, they usually have black people on the show, and black people enjoy watching the show. It is a dating show where they line a bunch of people up and give them balloons, and then a person comes out. If they don't like the person, they pop the balloon. If they like the person, they keep their balloon. And if they pop their balloon, they explain why. So when they explain why, I think that's what makes the show juicy. I want to get on the women because I do feel like the women are worse on this show. And like I said, if you watch the show like how I watch the show, I watch every episode, you cannot deny that. I mean, it's almost tied, but I would say the women are slightly worse. Okay, so let's talk about it. I don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna give you a background on what I noticed about black women and why they are slow at dating. Okay. So in the black community, it doesn't even matter. Caribbean, sometimes even African, black American. We all know that the common theme that gets pushed is don't you date, don't have any discussions about men, get your degree and focus on your degree and focus on college, and that's it. And so when it comes to dating, that's why a lot of black women show up on the dating scene literally mentally retarded. Yes, mentally retarded. We'll get into it. Okay? Because it's not like that in other communities. So black women, when it comes to anything involving femininity, so dating, wearing makeup, wearing cute girly outfits, it completely gets shunned in the black household. So that's why black women, like, they're always behind. They're always late bloomers. They're always late to find a husband statistically. A lot of times black women get married later in life because their parents gave them no guidance when it comes to dating and femininity and just sent them out to the wolves. And that's why black women have a bad reputation on the dating market, you know, just how men view us. Sometimes black women get stereotyped as being masculine, which I can understand why, because anything feminine got shamed. So I did not come from a household like this. That's why I'm able to talk about it. My mom has always allowed me to embrace my femininity. I was always allowed to wear makeup at a young age, and I'm not against that, by the way. Me as a grown adult, I am not against teens wearing makeup. I think that they should. I think that that is the perfect age to explore your femininity and learn your femininity. So that way, when you start dating seriously, it's like you already got this down. You already know how to talk to men and work a room and work an outfit, and you know how to put some makeup on. I think women should start their femininity journey as soon as possible. I would say late middle school, definitely by high school. You should be learning, how to dress and tips to stay in shape and stuff like that. All of that. But, for some odd reason, that stuff gets called fast in the black community. If a girl wants to get her nails done, oh, you're fast. If she's wearing makeup, you're fast. If she wants her hair to be straight and long, kind of like Aaliyah, that's fast. Everything is fast. Everything gets shamed. And then you send your kids off to the wolves. See, black parents always do this thing when their kids finally actually, turn very grown, like so around 25, 21, whatever. They expect you to just come home with a husband as if you were equipped with the skills on how to even get one or attract one. This is a huge issue in the black community. During those essential years where women are looking to mate with men, black women are usually spending these years playing catch up. Pop the Balloon is a great illustration on how black women literally are on the dating market. So you can have your conspiracy theories if you feel like people come on this show to get famous. Yeah, that could be a little bit of the reason, but I do think that if you are on this show, you do want to find love in some way or some capacity. So that's why I like to use this show as a great psychological case study, so you can see how, like, literally every episode is no different from the last. They all say the same things, popping for stupid reasons. Okay, so that's why black women are mentally slow when it comes to dating sometimes. They are shamed and they suppress their femininity during the years that you're supposed to learn it more. Like, luckily for me, I've never had issues in this department because, like I said, I was encouraged to express my femininity during my teen years. So by the time it was time for me to seriously date in my 20s, I was already a pro at it. I already know how to carry myself, conduct myself, dress. That's why I do the videos that I do, trying to help you guys, because I see where black women tend to go wrong. And it's just not the same in other communities. In other communities, we all know, white women, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're encouraged to express femininity in as early as middle school. You can see when you go to, like, I'm just using them as an example. I'm not saying we have to live up to them, but I do think that comparison sometimes can help with growth. And I like certain things. I like sometimes how the white community does things. I will fully admit that I don't care. Because I feel like a lot of times with black people, due to history, we're very dysfunctional and backwards. But anyways, I like how white women, soon as they get to middle school, I'm talking the first day of school, these girls are all into their femininity. They're allowed to wear makeup, mascara. They're allowed to wear lip gloss. They're allowed to straighten their hair. They're allowed to wear super girly, cute outfits. From what I grew up around and seen in California, they're not, and it's not even just white people. I noticed this with a lot of ethnicities. They're not shamed for learning men or having boyfriends. That's another thing. Like, black women are heavily shamed. You can't have a boyfriend when you're a teen, because that's why white women or whatever ethnicities, they tend to get married earlier. During their prime, when you can get the best of the best. What I've noticed with white women is most of them are usually married in their 20s, by 25. With black women, it's not the same. Black women usually get married, later on, because in their 20s, they're still figuring out how to date and how to talk to men and how to keep a freaking man around sometimes, Black women, they're just late bloomers and they spend a lot of time catching up. So, and that's our parents' fault. A lot of your families put you at a disadvantage. They should have taught you these things. I told my partner, I said, choosing your spouse, your lifelong partner, is 1,000 times more important than a freaking degree. And I said what I said. You know why? Because this is going to be the man that you end up having children by. This is going to be the man that you spend all of your time with. This is going to be the man that you take off the street and bring into your home with your children. Is that not serious? Especially the children part. I think it's insane on this show how black women are dating. It's insane. Like a lot of times on this show, the common theme that they tend to pop over is like shallow, like petty things. Like literally, I'm gonna give you real examples that I've seen on this show that I've seen black women reject guys over. Well, I've seen multiple black women reject guys because they did not like the color of his shirt. They did not like the color of his shirt. They did not like his hat, his ring. And I will say this. Sometimes it is important to judge how people look because how they look will tell you a lot. So if a guy comes out, or if a guy was trying to date me and he looks like a pookie or a thug, obviously, yeah, I'm going to look at him and judge him and not date him. Yeah, that's how most smart women date. But the color of his shirt, really? Because you don't like his shoes? They don't say this to, the thuggish type of dudes. They reject the men that, in my opinion, come off as very good quality. That's who they're saying it to. They're telling those men with the good careers. I'm talking, some of the men that came on this show, I don't know if Arlette and her husband are trying to break a stereotype with black men, but they're doing a fabulous job because some of the men that come on that show have their ish all the way together. I'm talking, it's been doctors, engineers, certain jobs I can't even freaking pronounce, lawyers, biologists, scientists. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, because oftentimes black women get too distracted by the rappers of the community, the degenerate ones of the community. And it's so many great ones in the community. You just don't pay attention to them, or you're popping them off of shallow reasons. I kid you not, I've seen it several times. The color of his shirt. She didn't like that his shirt was green or brown. So you're going to reject someone. I can't wrap my head around it. It needs to be psychologically studied. And that's why I brought up kids earlier. This is your strategy of choosing the man that you want to have kids with. This is your strategy. Yikes. And so I said to myself, and this is going to be blunt, I said to myself, I'm sorry, but this show really puts it into clear context as to why women always get cheated on habitually. Women always end up in domestic violence relationships habitually. Women always are having their children in harm's way due to the men that they choose habitually, because y'all don't know how to choose people. And I like this show because for the longest we have been saying it. You've heard it on the red pill channels, but they don't know how to talk to people. I get it. But now you get to see it for yourself. And no matter what spectrum you're on, so you could be an extreme feminist watching the show. You could be an extreme, right, Donald Trump supporter watching the show, right? Two opposite spectrums. And we can all clearly see the same thing. That's why I like this show. Because there's no debates in the comment section. No one's arguing with each other in the comment section. We are all seeing the same thing and commenting the same thing. I think at this point, no matter what side of the coin you're on, we can all collectively agree that there are a few screws missing with a lot of the women that come on this show. And like I said, this show, in my opinion, it illustrates the dating scene, specifically with black women. Yeah, we can all agree. A lot of us can see why they're single. I like this show because this show is a middle ground to all of that gender war stuff. And it's showing very clearly to all parties the issue. Okay? And it's done greatly. Arlette she's just doing it by letting the people tell on themselves. She's asking them questions. And they make themselves sound dumb. Arlette is not getting on a podcast preaching about how it is. She's showing you how the dating scene is. That's why I like this show. Because for once, we have an illustration from our community of not people preaching at us, but they're literally showing us. So we can't deny it. For some reason, when black women get on the dating scene, they love to play fashionista. And that really gets on my nerves. It's honestly so weird. Why are you as a woman so overly concerned with a man's outfit? Because, most women do want to get married and settle down and have kids. And this is your method? Honey, we have to live with these men. Do you not realize you have to have kids by these men? You better be vetting his character. Make sure he's financially stable. And I don't care about what his job is. You better ask those extra questions. I mean, you don't have to drill him, but figure out a way to find it out. Does he have debt? Okay, you may have this fancy job, but how is your spending habits? Are you the type to go to the club on the weekends and blow all your money? Those are the questions you need to be figuring out from a man. Is he creepy? Does he have the potential to harm kids? I'm sorry, but this is why, the statistic is the way it is. It's very high. And, most Black women have a story of mommy bringing in a creepy man and he ends up harming the family. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue. This show, I'm not saying it's the full reason, but it's part of it. Okay, it's showing part of the problem with you guys. We, especially as Black women, do not have the luxury to be, even though you're a really great man, I'm just going to reject you because I don't like the color of your shirt. Something that he could literally change tomorrow. I mean, everybody knows women tend to elevate men's looks. If that's something you're concerned about, you can literally fix that. And men are very they like when we do that. Okay? So we don't have the luxury of, great man in front of me, but I'm going to reject you because I literally seen a woman say, I don't like your glasses. Surely on one episode, all of the women were rejecting this guy because they didn't like his ears. And his ears were not disformed or anything. It's just so freaking childish. Elementary school behavior, literally. I don't like the ring on your finger. I guess, the little football ring or something like that. Or I don't know what he had on. I don't know. I think he said it was sentimental. Who cares? That's the thing. Who cares? And this is why a lot of you guys end up dating men and you bring him in the home and he's harming and terrorizing your family because this is how you date. So that's why I like this show, because it's while this show is all fun and games, I take this show seriously. This show is a literal case study. If you ever want to know why Black women are always, just in dysfunctional situations, take a look at the show. And you'll see why. Look at how they choose their partners and you'll see why. Take a look at their dating strategies on the show. So women don't have the luxury of, I'm going to reject you because I don't like your jacket. We don't have that privilege. We have to prioritize the things that matter when we're choosing men. Okay? Especially if you want to have children. That is essential. If you want to have children, you definitely don't have time to be, I don't like the color of your shirt. I'm going to pop your balloon. Next. And they literally do this on every episode. Lord have mercy. Another thing is, most of the women on the show have the same type. Literally almost on every episode, they all want a tall man. And when I'm talking about tall, I mean tall, like in the low percentage of tall. It seems like they all want a 6'5" man, to be honest, because they be telling the 6' man on the show that he's short. So if you ever want to know, and I actually learned this by watching the channel called Ho Math. Sometimes I like to listen to men because they give you a different angle. Like sometimes women, we just don't consider certain things. And that channel, I watched a video that changed my life. He showed how women date and he illustrates it. He draws pictures. So maybe I'm just better at learning in that way because I got it. Basically, he illustrated men visually from a scale of 10 to 0, I guess. And then he showed an image of women all going after the 9 and 10 type of man, I guess. So I don't know, the tall man or something like that. And I'm like, if you ever wonder why you always date men that are sharing you with 20 different women, it's because you guys all go after the same type. I am literally going to break it down to where it'll make sense. If you ever wonder why a man is sharing you with 15 different girls, okay, go ask 15 random girls what do they like in a man, and I guarantee you mostly all of them will say they want a really tall man. Okay, so then once you get that really tall man that they're so desperately wanting on this show, you do know you're going to have to fight off all the other women that are probably going to want that man.
So yeah, I just Googled what percentage of men are over 6'5", and it literally says 1%. So all of you guys are fighting for 1% of a man, and you wonder why some men are able to do what they can do. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. If I was a 6'5" man and all of the women wanted me and I'm in the 1% category as far as height, I'm gonna share you guys too. So I always laugh when women, a lot of women come together and they're rejecting dudes that are like 6'2" on this show. I'm like, okay, you better be okay with cheating. I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it real. I am not trying to sound all red pill, but some of the stuff they be saying is kind of true. Like, even I would say with celebrities, which is also, I believe, very affluent men are 1%. That's why they're able to do what they can do. If you are into dating rich men, you have to also be okay with cheating. I don't care what anyone says. That's just how it's going to go down. And you are delusional if you think that's not how it's going to go down. That's all I'm saying. Can't have it both ways. These people are rare. And everybody wants them. So, I had to just come to a point in my life as a woman where I had to just be so freaking for real. Stop being delusional. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, this is coming from a girl whose dad is 6'5". My brother is 6'6". My cousins are all extremely tall. I have a tall family. Okay? Genetics go crazy. Yeah. And even I'm like, you guys are doing too much. Some girls will literally be on the show with their high horse talking about, well, my family is tall, so I need a tall man. And your family's tall. Do you want a cookie? Like, even me, I don't even go on like that. Like, I don't care about height because for me, it just doesn't matter. If you look at the other ethnicities, like, I'll use Mexican women, for example, because it's just really funny to me. They are all, like, married to, like, 5'2" men. But that 5'2" man is bringing home the bacon. He's providing. He's a loving husband. He spoils them. So I just love it. Like, when I was in California, I absolutely love to see it. Okay, the women walking around with their short man. Because the height really has nothing to do with anything, to be honest. But okay, go off, sis. And we all know the ones that go on about height be like 5'2", 4'11". So, girl, it gets to a point where, like, that's cute when you're a teenager, but when you're an adult, like, something I thought about the other day is when you still carry these childish characteristics as an adult, it gets to a point where it becomes a mental illness, for real. Like, all that stuff is cute, rejecting dudes because of his shoes or his height when you're a teen, but y'all be like 30 on this show talking about telling this, you're 30 and 5'2", telling the 6'2" man on this show that he's not tall enough. Get off the show and go to the NBA court to go find your man that you can share with 30 women that are sharing him. Girl, bye. I was telling my partner the other day, I see why with a lot of mental disorders, it's an age requirement to diagnose them. Like, you really can't diagnose children because you expect children to be that way. But, like, when you still act that way as an adult, I see why it enters you're insane category. You're probably mentally ill. You need to go talk to a psychiatrist, okay? You're an adult, still like just so slow, like what the title says. You're slow at dating, extremely slow.
You guys are all like robots. One thing that this show has taught me is I see why men tend to want to be exclusive with me fast. I see why when they get to me, they're out of breath because you guys are robots. You guys all have the same exact type. You say the same exact thing. On this show, I mean, my God, once women get a hold of words, they don't let it go. And they regurgitate what the next woman is saying. So a few years ago, everybody was on that toxic word. This year, the word that got ran down was narcissist. If you've been called a narcissist, don't even trip. Who hasn't been called a narcissist? If you blink wrong, women are calling you a freaking narcissist. So that word has no meaning anymore. Now, anyways, the new buzzword for 2025, I'm going to make a prediction. It's going to be emotional intelligence. Do y'all not realize that you guys are robots and y'all say the same thing? And I think this is one of the reasons why women struggle to get commitment out of men. If you want exclusivity with a man, you have to be exclusive. If you're going to sound like this every other basic chick, he's not going to see exclusivity in you. You're just one of many. So a lot of times on this show, the women just copy each other. Have you guys ever noticed that? They copy each other. They pop on the same dudes. They say what the next woman is saying. You guys are robots. And that's why no man sees you as special enough to settle down with and only be with. There is nothing special or exclusive about you that he can't get from someone else, if that makes sense. Okay? And that's the truth. You talk the same as the next 15 girls. You look the same as the next 20 girls. That's why he's always sharing you with 20 different women, because there's nothing unique about you. You copy everything that the next chick does. And I always talk about this on my channel. Y'all dress the same. You wear the same trends on Instagram. You do your makeup the same as the next chick. You talk the same. There's no uniqueness about you. I always say on my channel, if you pay close attention, those robotic, that's what I call them, robots, because they're all like the same copy. One common denominator that they're always having issues with is men. They're always having issues with getting men to commit to them. They're always having issues with getting men to see them as more than, intercourse. Yeah, that is something that I noticed about these copy and paste women. If you pay close attention and if you are a critical thinker, they're always struggling with men. It could be various reasons, whether is they can't keep a man around long term, they're in situationships for years. It's just like men literally dodge exclusivity from them. But when you are like that girl and your quality and your top tier and you're exclusive, it's really not that hard to get commitment from men. You don't need to do shows like these. So that's just what I've noticed. You're gonna notice that almost every man that you're on a date with is gonna want to wife you up. That only happens to the unicorn type of women, the rare type of women. When a man gets his hands on a woman that's not like the rest of the 50 other chicks, it's a reason why that term is called pick me, because those are the women that get picked. And so, this show makes me realize a lot of stuff about myself. I realized how unique I was. One thing about me that someone cannot say is that I am basic. I'm not. I am a trendsetter. People copy me everywhere I go. There's a girl right now stealing all my talking points on YouTube. Stuff like that has been happening to me my entire life, because when you are an influential person, when you do your own thing and you have your own groove, I noticed that people like that tend to start trends. And so all my life, I've always wondered, like, why do women copy me? Women literally come out and tell me that they're copying me. If it ain't my outfit, if it ain't the way I do my hair, if it ain't the way I do my makeup, women always copy me because I pave my own way. So yeah, oftentimes, I always get told, oh, you're different, and y'all can see I am. No, I don't think I'm like the other girls. And I'm saying that because y'all be making fun of pick-me's, but you actually should probably take notes if you want to be picked. I'm just saying, you can't have it both ways. Pick-me's must know something, because one thing about it, I think that word came from women that always like go on about how they're not like other girls. But yeah, not being like other girls is gonna get a man to take you seriously, because he sees that you're different from every other girl. That's what's gonna want to make a man wife you up or make you his girlfriend or be exclusive. Knowing that he can't walk down the street and find 20 different copy and paste of you. Oh, because y'all be struggling on the dating market. I mean, y'all hate when I talk about this. You say I'm male-centered, male-identified. I don't care. All I know is y'all be struggling, so I'm just trying to help you out. You have to be different in a way where a man knows you can't walk down the street and find this as easy. If you want that exclusivity from a man, you have to present yourself as exclusive to have on the dating market. So that's why I brought up the pick me word, because it actually kind of reminds me of the literal definition of being a pick me. It's the girl that goes on about how she's not like other girls, but you don't have to go on about it. Just carry yourself like you're not. I'm just saying. But let me be quiet. I'm giving too much game right now. Y'all, stop sounding like every other chick. And that leads me into my freaking next talking point. If I see one more girl on this show go on and on and on about how she's an empath and she is so spiritually higher vibrational than most of us, and she goes based off of energy, and energy is so important because her energy is just super high and she's God-fearing. When you go on and on and on and on and on about something, that makes you look suspicious. It makes people think that you are not that. If you are truly those things, let people say it for you. People will see that on you. You don't have to go on and on and on about it. And so after seeing so many episodes of women doing that, every episode they have that one woman, not one, it's a few, that just go on and on and on about how she's just so spiritually more self-righteous than the rest of us. And now I see why men typically do not like the witchcraft women, the spirituality women, the astrology women. Because y'all are annoying. And it's cap. Y'all will say this. I literally watched a girl on the episode say all of that, right? And then she ended up matching with the lowest vibrational man that they could possibly bring to the show out of all the good guys. She and this girl that went on and on and on about how her energy is so much better than everybody else, she ended up matching with a man who literally just didn't care. He was a pookie, and he said that his favorite hobby was smoking weed. And this girl, oh, that's another thing. They always go on and on about how, their intuition guides them. Why didn't your intuition guide you to choose a better man? You're so intuitively better than the rest of us, but you can't pick a man to save your life. Your intuition is not guiding you to choose a man, and it be basic stuff. If someone is saying that their favorite hobby is something as degenerate as smoking weed, you don't even need intuition to tell you not to choose a person like that. That's just basic, regular IQ. That'll tell you not to be with pookies. Yes, I've seen that on the show, and I see that often. These girls that go on and on and on about how they're so intuitive and empaths, they don't use the empathetic intuition for themselves and to choose a decent man. And when she was going on and on and on about that stuff, I kind of knew she was going to pick a bad man, because girls like that, that's what they tend to do. It's a lie. It's a front. They're overcompensating. And I think that's why guys don't take it seriously, because they see women that talk all that mess, but then they watch you run off with the worst man possible. Your intuition can't be that good. You can't be that much God-fearing and higher than the rest of us with you dating this way. And getting on this God-fearing word, oh my God, every freaking person uses this word on the show. I'm going to start asking people, like, although I know the definition, what does it mean? Can you explain? Like, okay, that leads me into my next point. The emotional intelligence buzzword. Y'all women will go on and on and on about this word. You're so emotionally intelligent, but then you'll reject the guy because you don't like the color of his shirt. You're so emotionally intelligent, but you always end up choosing the worst man in the entire lineup first. Every time I see a lineup on this show of men and they may throw in one or two pookies, I always know the pookies are going to get chosen first, because unfortunately in the Black community, pookies get the king status. They get all the women, they get coddled, they get treated very good in the Black community. It's the good people that get treated bad. So, emotional intelligence is another buzzword that, is hypocrites that don't practice what they preach. You're so emotionally intelligent, but yet you're on this show. You're so emotionally intelligent, but yet you're on a degenerate show called Pop the Balloon or Find Love. This is how you choose to find your husband. But you're so emotionally intelligent. So, that's just my little rant for today. Y'all give me a headache. You're giving everyone a headache. I see a lot of comments from all types of people that just say, I see why a lot of women are single. I think this show, if you binge it, you'll start to see what men are talking about. Oh, so I forgot to say this, so I'm back. I wanted to say this show, and just many examples, makes me not be so much against having your parents heavily involved in the dating process. Like in certain countries, I think with like Indians, their parents literally just pick their partners a lot of the times. And I am not against that. You know why? I think that young people, when you throw them to the wolves and say, hey, go find a husband, they will go in the dumpster, come back with a pookie and try to turn him into a husband type. Okay. So in so many words, I'm saying younger people, younger women are slow when it comes to dating. We need the brothers chiming in, because men can see other men just like how women can see other women. Where Black people go wrong is you leave it all up to a freaking 21-year-old, a 22-year-old. And that's why in the Black community, a lot of times you see, look at the men that the Black women choose to settle down with and have kids with. They're usually degenerate because there's no parental guidance when it comes to how we date. I'm for getting married young if you have guidance from your family to help you on how to spot a great partner for you and your family. If you don't give your child any type of guidance or no guidance or feedback or anything, and you leave it up to them, 9 times out of 10, most women or Black women, they're going to make a mistake. And that's why it goes back to what I said. A lot of Black women tend to get it right later on in life. You'll hear men say that, like, oh, they always learn this lesson at like 40. Yeah. A lot of times Black women will learn what to do when it's too late, in my opinion. That's my thoughts on that. This show, it makes me realize a lot of people need supervision when it comes to dating. I'm not even joking right now. Some of y'all need parental guidance. Okay? You remember that show on MTV? Oh my God. Anyways, yeah.